Okay, you're on.
So, let's call the meeting to order. 3 minutes late, so I get fined, I guess. Showing up late. Let me turn this thing off. Okay. Welcome to all our guests. Is there anybody want to have anything to say this morning? No? Okay, well, let's get into the meeting. The minutes of December 13th are in your packet. Any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, Lisa?
Good morning. Just election an update information. Today is the first day to file for a place on the ballot for our May 4th, 2024 election. Applications are available in the office as a walk-in basis, and they are available on our website. So it's just information.
Okay. Anybody have any questions of Lisa about the election? Okay.
All right.
Thank you. All right, Mary, you're on.
Good morning.
Morning.
Our first report is our investment report. We did have several treasury bills that matured in the month of December and of course the beginning of January. We had those funds reinvested in one of our money market accounts along with our representative with Westar. She was able to give us a rate at 5.37 for that money market, which gives us the flexibility to move funds into the general fund when needed. Correct.
That's amazing. That's good work.
Yes. We do have several that will mature, but in the month of excuse me, June and September, at that time I'll reevaluate and see whether we reinvest on the treasury bill side or those, depending on the rates that Westar has for us. They can fluctuate each month. They do base it upon what's the rate at the time as well.
Good news. Good news. It's going down, but who knows, huh?
Correct. The following report is our balance sheet. We did receive, I know Mr. Ivy is always on the grants receivable account, which is the 11620. That balance has reduced. We did receive on our grants $749,000 in December.
Say that again.
We received $749,000.
It was for the grant from the Riverside Canal. It was $1 million, 50-50, million the district, $1 million the year. And when we finished that up last year, we finished the reporting and submitted the request for the reimbursements. And that's been fulfilled and completed,
Okay, good.
construction-wise and monetary.
Both are good.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions or comments, or do you have anything else to point out there?
The receivable above that, which is the 11600, there is a balance of 3.9, but we have recently received about 3.874 of that balance.
That's
Mostly the PSB and Lower Valley invoices that went out at the end of the year.
good. Good. And well, they're accounts receivable, then that's why they call them that, right? But they've come in now.
Correct.
On the general primary, that's, will that be reinvested or is that just for cash flow purposes?
As of today, we are at 1.8.
Oh.
Yes. I have moved some of those funds already to the money market account.
Oh.
Well, Art's not here, so not a lot of questions.
Following, sorry, net revenue. For 2 months into the fiscal year, we are at 30% meeting our revenue. Al has worked on the draft of the allocation for PSB. So that will incur an increase of 1.761 million into our revenue.
Any questions or the net revenues?
And on our expenses, we are at 13%.
And we keep it halfway.
That would be great.
That compared to the income and percentages. Any questions? Okay, Mary. I like how you got this $500 check divided into different accounts.
Yes, it's easy to spot it what
It's
it
easier to follow
pertains
and
to.
understand
Correct.
what it's about. Any questions of the $500 check?
Did we take receipt of some of these dump trucks? What you- So this-
Yes, these were on capital from last year, right, Pete? From the dump trucks?
Yes.
They were,
Yes, there were last year's,
it was like a 6 to 8
Yeah.
month.
It was last year's, but it's not this year's projections? This is the money we had for last year?
from last year, yes, sir.
We just got them delivered
Yes.
Oh, okay.
in December, yes, water truck and 2 dump trucks.
That number 8 is for that Franklin feeder project?
Yes, yes, we needed, so we were narrowing the canal from about 40, 50 feet to a 14-foot bottom. So we contracted, we put out a bid and we contracted to haul from our stockpiles at the Rios yard down to the Franklin feeder, it's like a mile and a half, so yes.
And how are you finding out by contracting these people? Do you think it's more efficient for us, or what do you think, Pete?
Yeah, this was a situation where we had so little time, and with the trucks that we have, we weren't gonna get it accomplished in the time frame that we had, so we actually had to get outside help to help us bring in some dirt. And they gave us some pretty good pricing on it. What I did here is they pretty much charge us per hour rather than per load. Yeah, which is a lot more beneficial for us.
Okay.
And luckily, we were able to use them only for the month of November, December. And they're out.
And cost-wise, what do you see? Is it costing us more or less, or, I mean, they're not doing it ourselves?
Well, it's actually gonna cost us a little bit more, but again,
But the time
being that the
factor.
timeframe that we
Exactly.
had, that we needed the help. They supplied us with 6 15-yard dumps, and then with the 6 that we had, we were able to accomplish what we had to where now I've already pulled my trucks out. And we're utilizing them in other areas where we're needing to.
Yes.
We
It was such a short
more
haul.
of this.
It was a haul. It was a mile haul, and we were able to move a few thousand yards in
Right.
a short time frame, which helped tremendously. So we got the Franklin feeder, our guys narrowed it down and compacted it, and we got densities and whatnot, so it went along great.
That's good.
Okay, any other questions, Mary?
The 65, what is that software?
Terralogic document systems, it's, they came in and we had all our physical files and they basically scanned them. They scanned all our files and then we've got them in a query so we could do a search on all the documents, and it was a
It's for record retention.
record retention on deeds and, what we got, this is PDF filer, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So any document that, you know, records, land records, they came in and they picked up files, they took them and they scanned them and basically, so now we have them on PDF, on computers, it's not.
Where
We
then
have
we
to
used to
go in
have,
there and-
Easily
we used to have
accessible,
microfilm.
retrievable,
I'm
Yes.
sorry?
sortable, retrievable.
Yes, it's
for-
a lot,
for-
it's a lot quicker, and we use it on a daily basis, versus we used to have microfilm. You know, the little reels, and now it's just enter the
Yes.
information, it comes up.
Goes way back.
Yes.
Is
so-
this a monthly fee or is this gonna be a yearly fee?
What's a year?
It's a yearly.
Annual.
Annual, so it's kinda like an update to the software
Yes, sir.
or is this physical where they come in and they
That
start?
is included.
Both.
That's all included?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how does that fit into the, I understand we have a computer person, I think Al Blair's side person, whatever's doing it. How does that fit in? I mean, does he take oversight of that or how does?
Yes, so as far as letting them in the, in our system and our mainframe here or into the
Sure.
server, thank you. Yeah, so all security and whatnot, yeah, that, they come to the will and then everything there's a protocol.
So there's oversight,
Absolutely.
because it's very
Yeah,
sensitive
no,
documents,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So, I hate for us to, I think one time something happened and we lost, not lost, but it got
Oh, 'cause
That was the rental office program.
That's the whole thing, the whole-
Yeah,
That was a
they were
whole
out there
different.
Yes, something separate, due to our server.
Yes.
That's pretty good, you remember that, that's been a while back, and it crashed.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
who would forget something like that? 'Cause
Yeah.
I think I could. I just couldn't see Mary from walking into her office, there's so many boxes there, so it's like.
Right,
So I
yeah.
remember that part.
This program helps tremendously in getting, and having everything digitized.
So that's gonna help, I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
it-
part of the whole process.
It saves significant space, and they've got them, I think we've got 5 stations, right, or 6 stations, I guess.
About 7.
7 stations, and it requires, yeah, so they have a little machine where they can scan and whatnot, so they can do it, they have the ability to do it on themselves, and then, you know, we have their services as well, so. And it's all queried, you can do a search and, you know, type in a few letters and it'll punch everything that's in there, so it's been very beneficial.
It has.
As Rose.
Because obviously you're for it.
Oh, yes.
So did he provide his recommendation on it as well?
We all discussed it, yeah, we researched it before we signed on with these guys, because there's multiple companies that do this.
Yeah,
But,
everybody's
obviously,
promises the world.
security's
Yeah.
a significant factor, and these guys, we did a trial run, and they worked out well so far.
Okay, as long as our IT people are aware of.
Yes,
Yes,
so
and they
Will
have.
has it all locked down, and anybody that does try to do anything in the system, in the server, or in the domain, they gotta talk to Will.
Gotcha, thank you.
Credit card report, any questions of that? We've got that pretty light on the legal and consulting fee budget this year. For some of them have been billed,
Right, I just received it.
somebody's waiting to get their money out the first of the year, I think. Any questions of that kind? All right, well, we're back to the quarterly investment report, and we need to approve it, all right?
Correct, yes, sir.
We need a motion, board action to approve this, the last quarter investment report. Do I hear such a motion?
Move to approve.
Okay, Mike makes a motion, Larry second. All in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
That was pretty easy, Mike. I'm not here to ask you much questions. All right, so
Good morning.
Good morning, Rose.
Our first report, we have our tax report and our adjustment. So far, this is our first adjustment. It is regarding a water charge. The property owner, actually it's a new owner, questioned that there was no proof that the property had been used, irrigation water had been used on the property. we did send one of our personnel, and he did verify there was no water usage, so we're just removing, in this case, it's gonna be $18.40, which is a water delivery charge.
Just the water charge.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the adjustment? So, Larry makes a motion,
Second.
Miguel seconds, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Thank you. Our next report is for information. These are leases that we have with the City of El Paso. We have a Public Service Board. We also have Lower Valley Water District assignments, along with tax lease. Do you have any questions on this report?
I don't. I just like to look at it. After all the years we went without it.
Our next report is a comparison, the 2022 versus the 2023. And, yeah, I was in shock too when I saw 56% versus last year, at the same time as 36. And the reason is due to, we received payment from El Paso Water Utilities early in the month, rather at the end of the month. So the amount is reflected on this report.
And actually, we collected a little bit more last year than we did in 21,
Yes, sir?
percentage-wise.
Percentage
A little
wise,
bit, yeah.
yes.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Well, that's a piece of cake. Any other questions? Thank you, Rose.
Thank
Good
you.
job as always.
Thank you.
Okay, GM, is that you?
That's me.
Okay.
I just have a quick update on, we went out and contracted, so we put out a bid to haul off a sediment on two of our canals, the Franklin Canal from the heading to US 54, and the Riverside Canal from Hole in the Wall to the Tornillo heading, which is in Favens. And that's been going really well. Bain was awarded the Franklin Canal contract. To date, they've completed the section that was contracted from the heading to 54, and we had a total of about 17,000 cubic yards. The contract was from 20 to 30,000, so we still have a little bit left. So we were fortunate, and they were willing, and we hopped them across the zoo to Paisano. So they're working on Paisano right now, behind Fox Plaza, and continuing downstream to try to remove as much silt as we can until we fulfill the contract with the 30,000. Either they get the 30,000 or we run out of construction time. So, but that's going really well. So that's on the way. And the Riverside, we've got Z-Tex Construction. And we've got, that contract was for 140,000 cubic yards from Hole in the Wall to the Tornillo heading in Favens. And we've flown it, they're working on it. They have projected with the flight about 60,000 cubic yards of removal. So we're currently about 15. They got a little late start, we had some trouble with the LiDAR, but we got that taken care of. So they're working on the Riverside. Pete and Robert have been overseeing some of the photos and progress, so everything is going well with both those contracts. They're working really well, so.
All this stuff is make Robert's life a lot easier, right?
Yes,
Well, Jay, you might let them know that the Riverside has lost like 3 feet up.
yes, so that was part of the delay. We were trying to see where we're at. The canal was actually pretty much almost on grade, and that hole in the wall, as surprised as we were. We're like, well, why can't we have water? The bank was missing, I don't know, I'm gonna call it, these winds, about 3 feet on the banks.
Yeah.
So that certainly obviously reduces the capacity
I think we
significantly.
had an evaporation pond.
Yes. Yes, so sun rays, they take the
Yeah,
dirt.
right.
But Pete's already, we're working on it. We're stockpiling material, and we're building up the banks, and with Z-Tex, with their material we're moving, so we're gonna be able to use some of
When
that.
you do that, you can narrow
You're
it
looking
down.
for clay?
Yes.
Pete?
Yes.
Looking for clay? I
Yes.
think I got a couple of farmers that wanted to excavate I'll put them in contact with you.
I've already talked to one of them,
Uh-huh.
and he wants sand.
Right.
So I'm gonna do a trade-off with him. I'm gonna
Okay.
go out there and pick up the clay, at the same token, take him the sand that we're pulling.
Right.
Yes.
So I'll be pulling
Okay, I
it,
think I
or
know
calling in both
another
directions.
guy, and I'll have him contact you too.
Okay.
Okay, great, yeah, we'll be
Win-win deal.
stockpiling
Yes.
significant amounts of sand. I mean, the contractor, he's gonna haul it off, but I mean, if some of the farmers, so we can certainly talk about it, and, you know, it'll be a short haul or whatnot. I mean, if it works out.
And when you get those banks built up and narrowed down that canal, it'll sure
Yes.
stop some of that settlement.
Yes, speed it up, exactly.
3 feet difference in the banks.
Yes.
That's the reason it had to spread out, you know, or they've been reaching them.
Yeah, we had some problems,
It's always
with
been.
deliveries last year, but no, we'll get them back in shape here, before we get going here, so.
Good, that's wonderful.
We identified that, so yeah, but all that's going well.
You've done all that for Robert, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
No, we're doing it for you guys.
But makes your life a lot easier. for
You
those.
guys need the water. We're just trying to get it through you guys.
Okay.
Yes, so, and we'll have some, next month, we'll have some completed photos of the, you know, when we started and where we finished on both projects, Franklin and the first site. So, but that's all I've got. Thank you, gentlemen. Unless you have any questions?
Any questions, yeah? This is scary.
It's going too fast.
Too fast, I miss them, what I got? Okay. District engineers report.
Hey Jay, I've got a screen that I share it if you want to put it up on the video.
You're gonna share your screen? Yes, I've got it up there.
Oh, the board can see, I can't see it. Up on the TV on the wall.
Hold on,
We're just still looking at you and Renee and us.
hold on.
Right, Renee hasn't said a word. She's got laryngitis.
He doesn't charge us unless he does.
Okay. Hey, Renee.
Okay,
I start charging by the word if Johnny would prefer that.
Oh, I woke up a sleeping giant.
Okay.
so
Okay.
this is good. First time in a while that I've been able to make an allocation like this. But again, just remind everybody, this was part of the presentation we make to the farmers, which we can do pretty soon. We allocated water by the committee yesterday, and we're ready. I'm going to request you guys make an allocation today. We only allocate water in storage. We looked at the snowpack and the watershed, but we only allocate water in storage. So there's no forecasting other than for information. The allocation's based on only what we have available, made available by reclamation. So the amounts that were made available yesterday are on the 15th, based on the data of the 15th. Mexico's allocation is 31,968, EBID's 104,662, and we're 267,780. Obviously, there's going to be water coming into the system, and we'll conserve that water, most of it probably for us for next year. But the estimates right now that it's not as great a year as it was last year, but it may approach average. We don't really know, that's why we don't allocate that water on doing it. But these are very conservative estimates, so there is more water that will be made available to us over the year. The recommended allocation is 4 feet, 48 inches per acre, 10 irrigations for small tract. We average our measurements are about 4.7 plus inches. That equates to the 48. We're looking at opening the gates on the 15th. It's going to take us about 6 days to get the water down here and get the system primed, everything going. So that means that the deliveries start on the 21st. And then we'll just have to see what the demand is, like we always do, but we'll have enough water to run to September, October. So how long we can run depends on how much we want to conserve for next year on some issues, and also on when Mexico goes off and other things like that. So that's why we've got about a 2-month window, and we won't know exactly until we get closer to that window. So that's the good news. Those allocations are based on a large amount of calculations Robert and I do. This is the one that comes up with the 48 inches. It has all sorts of numbers in here that we have to account for, small track. One of the numbers is the crops calling for irrigated land. We've upped that this year significantly. Robert might be able to speak to what our estimated cotton acreage, but we feel that there'll be a lot of, maybe get input from the board on that, what they think the number of acres planted will be.
There'll be a lot more. I mean, you know.
Yeah, we upped it by 7,000 acres.
Yeah, I would imagine you could look back at the last year that you had a full allotment coming up pretty close.
That's about the number we used when it was full previously, so we're good. Everything balances out. We do have to use the sewage effluent, of course, blended with it, and our supplemental wells, but as we get more water, the only time we'll be using initially the supplemental wells, I've reduced those amounts quite a bit, would be to prime the system with them, and for some shortages may show up on some of the laterals. Again, that water will be blended with the good water.
It's always good to use them enough to keep them working.
Yeah, and so, but that right now, I cut back the amount of production of those wells by 50% compared to a drought year. So that's, again, we'll probably, as we get more water allocated, if we don't need to run the wells, we won't, but we should run them a little bit, like Johnny says. Public Service Board has its own calculation sheet. It's complicated too. We've gone, I've recommended it to you guys that we go to a full allocation of 4 feet on the 2001. The 41, 49, 62, and 88 contracts have their own provisions. And so they're based on the irrigated land. 2001, you actually have to make that allocation separate from the farm allocation. And that total amount that the city will have available to them is about 71,000 acre feet. We're not sure, right now, Robert, that would be about 150 CFS a day. I think they have that capacity between Jonathan Rogers. What do you have any update on the expansion to Jonathan Rogers?
No,
Robert?
They haven't said nothing. I haven't talked to Parker. They've been calling me about when they're gonna start, but they haven't talked to me about a piece, but they usually take a little over 100. So.
At Jonathan, and then what do they take at Canal, about 50?
Yeah, 50, 60.
So that matches there, so maybe they'll be able to make use of it. They have to reserve some water for the Canterville well field. It comes out of their allocation. And so, anyways, we expect them to be able to utilize most of their water through the losses caused by the Canterville well field or the 2 treatment plants. So that's good. So this is back to normal. This is what all these contracts were designed for. The revenue from that is, Mary, I sent that to her yesterday, the estimated revenue. Mary, did you have a chance to review that? Did you find everything okay in there?
I have not had a chance to review yet, Al.
Okay, it's the number that I calculated, but she hasn't reviewed it. It's 6.8 million for this year. But we'll get Mary to verify that before we send it. But I'd like to get that off to PSB as quick as possible too. So that's a significant increase.
Yeah, that's what it's all. I like your word normal, Al, when you said back to normal. I want you to define that.
Yeah, well, normal for us was when we wrote these contracts back in 2001, right?
Yeah. Well, we went 24 years of full supply of water, but that was was Pfeiffer's fault, right?
Wolf Creek, as you can see, last year we were about normal. At this time of year, we're below normal, but it doesn't mean a whole lot in January because it's not much snow. What matters, as you can see in Wolf Creek, the snow that we get is all up here, this above 35 stuff. That's what matters. So we won't know about it until May, and we never do. That's why we can't predict or allocate based on predictions. But when there is snow, there was significant snow the last week. You can see some increase there. And hopefully we'll catch up with the normal curve and start passing it. So, but these are the big snowfalls that start in February, in March, And then we start getting the snow melt in May where we can see it actually coming down into the system. So we'll see what happens next month and in March and April. So we're right now, the Upper Basin's at about 74, Chalmers at 70, and Sangre Chris is 83. So we're running about 75% of average, which is could be worse, that's for sure. But fortunately, we have the water in storage, so we can do all this with what we already have in hand. So, any questions?
We have a little more antecedent moisture than we've had too, so.
Yeah, and the water will come in, and later in the year we will conserve for next year if we don't need it. If we need it, we'll use it.
Right.
Hey Al, has EPCWID agreed to release the same time you're going to release?
No, the way that the state allocates water there is they combine their groundwater with their surface water and limit them. So they'll just use their surface water for when it's hot in June. We don't have a date for them. They may start like they did last year in the Rincon Valley earlier. But at this point, the real question is Mexico, when Mexico is going to come on. But I reserved water for over 30 days worth of water, or even a little bit more than that, in case we're on the river by ourselves.
Yeah.
And most likely, I think we will be for a while.
It's really important for Mexico to come on, and they will probably use it over there because most of their crops are like ours over here.
Correct.
Row crops, so if you talk.
So we don't, if they come on with us, it'll
reach out to
Roger.
Victor. Yes, I'm gonna reach out to Victor and see what their thought is. Given, we just received this yesterday on the allocation meeting, and I know Sam Stiffer with IWC is the one that contacts, but I'm gonna reach out. We talked about it yesterday, and there's a projection for July to be at 43, and then see what their thought is. But yes, I'm gonna ask.
We can get them to come on, but the reason for that is we don't suffer all the losses.
Share the losses, exactly.
On the river, so really important.
Yeah, but just understand that we've looked at that contingency and reserves, so we can still do this we have water reserve to cover those losses. So, I'm requesting that the board make an on-farm allocation of 48 inches, a small tract of 10. And then for the 2001 contract, the amount of water is 28,116 acre feet. Those are all full allocation.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Larry makes a motion, Mike seconds, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried. That's a good one, we haven't done it in a long time.
And then the other resolution you have to discuss is what the contract amount. We already did that. We set that at the end of the year. But our roads, the contract water for the people that are tax exempt. Do you do those contracts? You set the rate on those now, don't you?
The ones for the exempt lands or the regular lands?
The ones that are tax exempt, that we still under contract supply water to, like the county parks and some of the schools.
Yeah, that's already been set.
Yeah, we said that, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
November.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the amount in arrears. Okay, that's fine.
Yes, sir.
I think those we actually set in advance, but that's okay. We'll continue. All right.
Well, first time you got good news, Blair, we're proud of you.
Yeah, I did a lot of praying for this.
Okay. Rain dance
Perfect.
from Arizona.
Perfect.
All right, anything else? Al, is that all your stuff? Anybody have any questions?
That's it. Unless you got any questions.
Any questions about? Okay, Water Master. You're the victim.
Victim, huh?
Yeah.
Now, I got very
You
little.
get that microphone, that's what you become.
Mine is very short. Again, coming back to what Jay talking about Frank Canal, too bad, there's not pictures, but it really, really, really was good up there downtown. I mean, the 50 years plus I've been here, I've never seen it. What we've done, the MP have gone into with dozers, but the job they did up there is great. So it's gonna improve, and I think the Riverside's gonna improve. The farmers have been calling about their starting date, about the water, and I told them, you know what, guys, until the board meets and give us directions, I ain't saying nothing, so they're kind of concerned, but they have a feeling what we discussed today that's gonna happen.
It wasn't official, but we gave them a good idea, and they need that this time of year to be prepared.
Yeah, Johnny, but it's still, yesterday I was talking to some of them, and I said, it looks like, we're gonna release the 50, but keep the release early. I said, guys, it just doesn't happen that way. It's got a lot of things to fall into play, but.
They're nervous because now they're gonna have to go back to work.
Well, that's what it is. It's not going back to work, they're trying to find workers right now. They can't find people. And we're in the same boat. We can't find workers. We're having a hard time finding ditch others. They come in here and say, well, I'll work, but I don't wanna work Saturdays, and I don't wanna work Sundays, and I don't wanna come in at 6:30, and, okay, well, you don't wanna work, but.
Well, you don't wanna work here then. That's
No,
what you do.
because it's not fun, it's kinda hard. The small tracks, like Al said, I started making the schedule with 10, it's gonna be a lot easier, trying to squeeze the 10 this year compared to last year, trying to bunch them up, but I'm trying to get it to where we'll get the water in here, we'll try to hit the cotton and the pecan people, and then we'll start the small tracks in April by that time. And then I don't have them again until May, just one time, and then not worry about them until June. And in case something happens in April or May that we have to cut off because there's not demand really falls down, you never know. We won't have to worry about the small tracks hurting us too much. So we got that going.
And with cotton and all, it works pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And I think that what's gonna happen when the water gets here, I think that we're gonna have the cotton with the pecan bunched up, and they're all gonna be.
They'll get together.
Are we gonna start early? You gonna put anything in the system early or not?
No.
Return for,
No.
no?
No. Because, Larry, unfortunate, they're working on the Franklin feeder, so that's tied up, and then they're working on the Riverside, that's tied up. I think right now it's very important they get those two puppies out of the way, especially the Riverside, because as the past couple of years, we get that 300 mark below Wasteway 1, and we have to go to Wasteways because it will not carry. And you get Tony 9B, and he only used 200 feet easy. And then plus what he's gonna tell you, we don't get it to Tornillo. And
That's gonna be a huge improvement.
Yeah.
And it's really a revelation to me to hear it was the banks were the problem.
Like Jay was saying, right there, we overflowed Bobby twice right above the Hanson check.
Oh, yeah.
His ditch, Johnny, is higher than our canal.
It's because of the banks. It never dawned on me. I mean, I've been watching that thing forever and ever and called it Lake Riverside, but the reason it is because we need more banks.
And that's the reason, we carry the Hanson, don't even check it over the bank, and it still overflows. And then unfortunate, Chase gets mad at us because we can't build up the water high enough, and Jody gets at us.
It'll make a big difference.
Oh yeah, it's gonna make a
It'll
difference.
make your life a lot easier.
Those high turnouts that we have above the Hanson.
It's something that needs to be done a lot of years.
And unfortunate, we have no water for the past couple of years, so we have no reason to run the water that we're running. But now, even last year, we had to run it, and this year it's really coming up with the cotton.
But still in all, the elevations and all, it makes the efficiency for the irrigators a whole lot better when you get that head up there.
Yeah, and then me and Peter, we throw bow and arrows at each other because, raise it up, and he says, oh, it's good, Robert, it's good, but, it's sorry.
Like I say, the cause of it is a revelation to me. I never even dreamed of it.
I had to do it. I had to do it.
Where did it, what's happened, but yeah, it finally came to fruition when we saw the LiDAR and we saw the survey, we're like, wait a minute, what? It was on grade and then like it was off a few inches, I'm like, how the hell is the Riverside on grade?
This
But
is
yeah,
not working right, so it's.
the banks are 2.5 feet, and yeah, so no, it's gonna be a great
Oh,
improvement.
yeah, huge improvement.
They finally somebody listened to us. Thank God. And so-
Okay.
and then next thing
You're
you
gonna have a
have,
farmers meeting with Simmons,
Yes.
yes, that's up to you guys when you wanna hold them, hold them in February.
ASAP,
Okay.
ASAP, because they need the information.
Absolutely.
And they're all wondering, so make it official.
We'll work on some dates, we'll get with Cassie, we'll call the A&M and then the Upper Valley to see when they can fit it in. And we'll
Quicker
try
the better, because like I say, people really need this information
Yes, right.
officially. I think they all know, but they're all.
And then next
They're
thing
official.
is the dispatch is always open, so I'm gonna start taking orders whenever the guys want, because they already called in, they wanna get in front of the list, they said, and then it's even better for us, because the faster we start seeing the acres out there, the faster we can react to it, because even Al is concerned that maybe
Once
we
you
don't
get your
have
orders,
acres.
you can plan.
Yeah, and Al's concerned that March the 15th, the acre won't be there, but you know, Johnny and Larry, farmers like to irrigate by the 15th of their cotton
Yeah,
ground.
for continent, if they have the opportunity to
Yeah.
do that, for
And
sure.
pecan, Larry, usually by March the 15th, most of the time, you're already on your second watering. So, you know, it's gonna, when the water gets here, it's gonna be
It'll
needed.
get used, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be needed, so, and we gotta hurry up and get these canals flushed out, because they're not gonna have water, and like Al said, maybe we can use the wells to start getting some up and down the way.
And it doesn't hurt to run those wells.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it really doesn't.
So we'll set up some dates with Jay and then, on the meeting, and then we'll let the board know when it's gonna happen, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, good.
That's
Good
it for
news,
me.
Robert. Great.
You're so
Work this.
short time.
All right, Big Grove, you're on.
Morning. Okay, so, yeah, as we mentioned, we did hire Fedea to help us out on the Franklin feeder to try to speed up
We're getting a reverb back,
the process, which actually worked very well in our favor. On the Franklin feeder, pretty much all the hauling has been done, so all we're doing right now is shaping and kind of compacting. We've already done approximately half of it, which is about 2,400 feet. We will start shooting shotcrete on Monday, and we'll start with 70 yards per day, and then as we, get back into the groove, we'll probably increase it up to about 9 trucks. And hopefully get ahead of the game enough to where I can bring a second shotcrete crew in to get this thing done, hopefully by the end of next month.
Wow.
We'll have to be done by then.
I mean, just-
Okay,
there's
so,
gonna be a bunch of rain or something. That's all.
Right, and with this weather,
Heat weather.
I think they're expecting rain next week, so that puts a monkey wrench in our plans, but we'll get it done one way or another. As I mentioned, 1,200 feet, already formed, liner in, ready for concrete. Next 1,900 feet, they're ready, we're working on the liner already, and we're just gonna keep on moving downstream. And with the dirt work, hopefully we can stay ahead of the shotcrete, which I'm sure we can. So with that said, I was able to pull some of my excavators out. I've moved one over to the riverside above the I-0 checks. This is an area where the riverside has narrowed. So we're going in there, we're digging it out, and we're widening the riverside. We're starting at the I-0s and working our way upstream. Z-Tex is working from Honolulu downstream. They're working off the right bank, so our dump trucks, being that we're done with all the dirt work, I've moved them over to the riverside where we'll hold the wall. So we're hauling dirt on the left bank. We need to raise it about 2 to 3 feet. Once Z-Tex finishes that area, we'll jump over to the right side. I might have to go out there and maybe ask for help again from Perea, but we'll find out, as time progresses.
Well, you're gonna get her done, is there?
Right. I just need to make sure that it's completed, so if I'm gonna need help, I'll go out there and seek help. So the riverside's being done. The second excavator, I have pulled it out and I moved it over to the island main. There we're pulling that sand out that I'm gonna deliver to this farmer. So I'll be doing a swap with them. And being that it's such a short run, we should get ahead of the game quite a bit. I've started right where the shotcrete ended, or where we started actually, and I'm working my way upstream towards the I-72 heading. Okay, once I get ahead a little bit more on the Franklin feeder, I'll pull another machine and move it over to the riverside and move where we need them. We are digging all our laterals using, thanks to Robert, all the senior ditch riders, we got them on backhoes and they're digging out their own units. So that's been a big help. Once we're done with that, then all I gotta do is go out there and worry about either hauling the dirt out that needs to be hauled out or leveling it. We're also working on our delivery system. We have been working on turnouts here for the past 2 months. I've had 2 crews out there. Just recently, I pulled 2 crews out, and we're relocating some turnouts, well, not relocating, but extending some turnouts on the Franklin feeder where we're gonna put the shotgun. So I'm having, since we're narrowing it, I'm having to bring those turnouts out. So I'm having to bring them out approximately about 10 feet. And there's about 5 turnouts. We've done already 3, and we're working on another 2. We should be done with those by next week. Radio gates at the transfer point was another problem. These gates are starting to rot out, so we pulled them out. I'm gonna seek help from Raul Burley's Welding, so he can go ahead and build me a gate, because that's gotta be bent, and we don't have the equipment to bend it. So we pulled it out. I'll be taking it to him tomorrow, and hopefully getting that built. And then we'll go install it again. We've got approximately about 15 check gates that have been built. All we need to do is go out there and slap them in. Pretty much that's it. I'll get you guys some pictures next month.